You know that sick feeling when you finally roll up the long gravel drive after 2 years welding pipe on rigs halfway around the world, expecting nothing but your late Nana Eileen's sweet 42 acres of Florida pine and pasture, and instead you see 128 cookie-cutter McMansions, a sparkling clubhouse pool, and a shiny black and gold sign that reads, "Welcome to Cypress Grove Estates. Covenants strictly enforced by HOA." Yeah, that was me, Garrett Callahan, staring at what used to be Nana's tomato patch now turned into a gated paradise of three-car garages and manicured lawns, so perfect they looked photoshopped. The HOA president was already waiting like she owned the damn planet. Regina Langford. Picture every entitled suburban nightmare wrapped in Lululemon and a spray tan. She stood in the middle of what used to be Nana's front yard, directing a landscaping crew with the confidence of someone who'd never heard the word no in her life. I stepped out of my dusty F-150, deed and survey papers in hand, and kept my voice polite as Sunday church. "Ma'am, I think there's been a mistake. This land belongs to me." She looked me up and down, work boots caked in Gulf Coast mud, faded Carhartt jacket, 2-day stubble, and gave me the smile that could curdle milk. "Bless your heart, sir. This is a respectable community. Whatever little scam you're running, it won't work here. We have rules." She actually patted my arm like I was a confused puppy. "Now be a dear and turn that truck around before I have to call security. We don't allow solicitors or fraudsters." I held out the deed. Nana Eileen bought these 42 acres in 1952 with every penny she earned waitressing after my granddad never came home from Korea. Paid the taxes every single year, even when I was gone. Regina's perfectly manicured nails flicked the paper like it was something gross. Her smile never wavered, but her eyes went flat. "This has to be fake. Our developer did everything by the book." She turned to the crew. "Gentlemen, this gentleman is trespassing. Please escort him off the premises." That's when the first fine arrived, slipped under my windshield wiper while I sat there stunned. $250 for unauthorized vehicle in private community. I almost laughed. Almost. Instead, I drove to the only motel in town, checked in, and started making calls. Quiet ones. The kind you make when you've spent 15 years negotiating with international oil companies and you know exactly how the game is played. Next morning, I hired Jenkins Surveying, the best in 3 counties. Cost me $4,000 up front, but when 42 acres of prime Florida real estate are suddenly worth north of $20 million, you don't cheap out. 2 days later, the crew rolled in with GPS that could map a gnat's eyebrow. Every single house, every sidewalk, every damn palm tree sat squarely on Callahan land. The clubhouse? Right where Nana's prize-winning heirloom tomatoes used to grow. The pool? Directly over the old family well. I printed the survey results nice and big and walked straight to Regina's front door. My front door, technically. She opened it in yoga pants and a face full of Botox surprise. "Mr. Callahan, I thought we were clear." "Ma'am," I said, voice still calm. "These documents prove every blade of grass here belongs to me. Your HOA has been collecting dues on stolen property." I handed her a copy. She scanned it, and for the first time that fake smile cracked. Just a hair. Then she recovered. "This is ridiculous. Our attorney will handle this nonsense. Good day." The door slammed so hard the little decorative "Bless this mess" sign fell off. That night, the neighborhood WhatsApp group, Protect Cypress Grove, exploded. Regina had already spun the story, dangerous drifter trying to scam hardworking families. My truck plates were posted. Residents were told to call 911 if they saw me. I sat in my motel room listening to the digital lynch mob and smiled for the first time in days. Let them talk. I was recording every post. By sunrise, I'd had vinyl banners made. Big ones. "This is Callahan family land. Owned since 1952. QR code linking straight to public records." I strung them across the development like Christmas lights nobody asked for. Residents woke up to the truth staring them in the face. Some laughed nervously. Others started whispering. Regina lost her mind. She filed an emergency HOA meeting for that same night and sent out a mass text. "Urgent. Trespasser threatening our safety and property values." I showed up anyway. Sat in the back of the packed clubhouse, my clubhouse, according to the survey. Regina stood at the podium in a power suit, voice dripping honey. Friends, we cannot let this outsider disrupt the peace we've built. Our covenants are clear: no unapproved structures, no disturbances, and certainly no false claims. She locked eyes with me. We will protect our homes. The room murmured agreement. But I just nodded, phone in my pocket still recording every word. Because here's the thing about people who love rules. They forget the biggest rule of all: don't steal what ain't yours. The restraining order came the next morning. Regina claimed I was unstable and a clear threat to the children. The petition listed my work boots as evidence of aggressive intent. I read it in the motel parking lot and actually chuckled out loud. Dark, bitter laugh that tasted like diesel and revenge. These people had built their American dream on my dead grandmother's grave, and now they wanted a judge to declare me the villain. Cute. I showed up in court anyway, clean-shaven, wearing the only suit I owned. Regina arrived with her husband Richard, city planning commissioner, who somehow fast-tracked every permit for Cypress Grove. She wore pearls and victimhood like accessories. The judge asked for proof of ownership. Regina's lawyer stammered about good faith reliance on county records. I slid the tax receipts across the table, paid every year from every rig I'd ever worked. The judge raised an eyebrow. Ms. Langford, you have 30 days to produce clear title. Until then, Mr. Callahan may post reasonable signage on his property. Reasonable. I like that word. So I spent another $300 and printed notices. Temporary trespass fee, $50 per household per day while ownership is determined. Venmo at Callahan Land. I taped one to every door, right under the HOA's precious, no soliciting stickers. The neighborhood lost its collective mind. Property values tanked overnight. Real estate agents started ghosting listings. Some terrified homeowners actually Venmo'd me the $50, figured it was cheaper than lawyers. I sent every penny back with a polite note. Keep it. You're going to need it for moving. Regina called another emergency meeting, this time at the VFW hall, because the clubhouse felt unsafe. 200 panicked residents packed in. She stood up, voice trembling with righteous fury. This man is trying to destroy everything we've worked for. We must stand together. I sat 3 rows back, phone recording again, capturing every lie. When she said, people like him target decent families who just want to live the American dream, half the room nodded. The other half started looking at her sideways. Because by then the survey had been leaked, and folks were doing math on their mortgages. That's when my old rig buddy hooked me up with a forensic title guy in Tallahassee. Turns out Regina hadn't just moved into a stolen neighborhood. She'd been Pinnacle Development's corporate counsel when they filed the fake plats. Her signature was on the incorporation papers. The same woman finding residents for grass over 2.5 inches had helped steal 42 acres of prime Florida land. I printed that too. Posted it on the community board right next to the HOA's approved paint colors list. Her next move was classic Karen. Hire a private investigator to dig up dirt. They found exactly nothing. 15 years of clean employment records, Navy veteran status, not even a parking ticket. So she escalated. Filed paperwork claiming I was mentally incompetent and needed to be committed for my own safety. I read the petition and felt the cold burn of pure satisfaction. She was panicking. Good. While she scrambled, I was busy. The survey crew had flagged something interesting in the northeast corner. Old mineral rights never severed. Recent state geology reports showed a natural gas pocket worth north of $60 million sitting right under Cypress Grove. I sat in my truck at 2 a.m., staring at the glowing pool where Nana used to hang laundry, and whispered, they really picked the wrong piece of dirt. The federal RICO filing hit like a Category 5. I named Regina, her husband, Pinnacle Development, and half the city planning office. Asset freeze on everything. News vans rolled into Cypress Grove so fast the HOA speed bumps popped like champagne corks. Residents who once cheered Regina's "Protect Our Community" speeches were now screaming at her in the streets. Some tried paying me again, just to make it stop. I refused every cent. I wasn't here for money. I was here for the look on her face when the truth finally landed. Her son Derek, trust fund little punk with a criminal justice degree and zero common sense, got caught on my new military-grade cameras spray painting "Land Thief" across Nana's old barn at 3 a.m. I handed the footage to the sheriff myself. Regina tried to spin it as youthful expression. The sheriff, who suddenly remembered he wasn't her personal errand boy once the feds showed up, arrested the kid on the spot. The WhatsApp group turned into a digital riot. Half the neighborhood wanted Regina's head on a pike. The other half started quietly packing U-Hauls. Then came the mineral rights bomb. I contacted 3 competing energy companies and let them know the lease Regina had forged in my name was worthless. Suddenly, I had a bidding war. $82 million later, I owned clear title, environmental oversight, and enough community benefit money to fund scholarships for every kid in the development whose parents got screwed by Regina's scam. I stood in the old tomato field, now community garden, and watched kids who used to be terrified of the scary man plant flowers where Nana's grave used to be. The final HOA meeting was beautiful. Regina tried one last power play. Emergency assessment of 20 grand per house to fight the frivolous lawsuit. The room exploded. Residents who'd once nodded along now stood up and demanded her resignation. I walked in during the chaos, handed her the official eviction notice for the clubhouse, and said loud enough for every phone camera to catch, "Mrs. Langford, you're trespassing on private property. 30 days to vacate." The silence that followed was sweeter than any rig payday I'd ever earned. 6 months later, the feds had Regina in cuffs, her husband flipping faster than pancakes at a church breakfast, and Pinnacle executives singing like canaries. The entire conspiracy, 12 developments across 3 counties, collapsed. Every family in Cypress Grove got clear title, paid legal fees, and a slice of the trust fund. Property values actually climbed once the cloud lifted and people realized they lived in a neighborhood that finally had honest leadership. I kept the farmhouse, renovated it with rig money and gas royalties. Every September, we throw Nana Eileen's Tomato Festival right where the pool used to be. Kids run barefoot, residents bring their best heirloom seeds, and nobody, not a single soul, pays an HOA fine for having too much fun. So here's the question that keeps me up at night, and I want you to answer honestly in the comments. When an entire neighborhood is built on stolen land, and the HOA president spends years lying, slandering, and breaking every law she claims to enforce, who was really in the wrong? The guy who fought back, or the people who let her get away with it for so long? Drop your thoughts below, because next time it might be your backyard. And trust me, those perfect lawns hide a lot of dirt.